Hey guys, Coach Steven here, SLG Fitness. Today I'd like to start my first series for you guys, and I'd like to discuss some anatomy and function. Now, discussing anatomy and function is going to help you make decisions in the gym, smart decisions, about how to train certain muscles. With a basic understanding of anatomy and how a certain muscle functions, you're going to be able to pick the right exercises and efficiently hit each muscle group. So, today I want to discuss chest. We have the Pec Major here, which we know where the Pec Major is. It's this entire muscle here. But it's also broken down into 3 separate divisions. So we can target these. We have our clavicular fibers, which run in this plane, which is more incline upper chest. Then we have our sternal fibers, which run straight across horizontally, right here to the mid chest. And then we also have our costal fibers, which run down in this plane, which is more the lower chest when people think of decline. So we see here we have our 3 divisions, and they all insert on the humerus, which is on your arm. So whenever we think about doing our chest movements, we want to focus on moving that humerus across, and that is going to target your chest. Now, what are the actions of the Pec Major? We have shoulder horizontal adduction, basically this. So anytime you see basically someone doing a cable fly or a dumbbell fly, moving the humerus, the insertion over to the origin shortens that muscle. So that is how you target that motion. We also have shoulder internal rotation. So when we're targeting our clavicular fibers, for example, we're coming up in this plane and immediately rotating. You can even put your finger in this region here, and as you bring it up, you feel that clavicular fiber shortening, and when you add that rotation at the end, you can really feel it ball up. So when we look at the shoulder horizontal adduction in this range, that's more sternal fibers. When we're looking at the clavicular, we're looking at flexion of the arm, raising our arm up in this plane. And then, of course, the costal comes down in this plane. Now, we also have what is called our Pec Minor, which is located under this Pec Major. And I have a drawing here for you. This Pec Minor covers these 3 through 5 ribs. And this lies basically in the same plane as the costal fibers. So whenever we're thinking about training this, we can train it very well with a costal pec fly with a cable or a high to low cable. So this is really going to target that area. We also have our Serratus Anterior, which comes around from the scapula from the back and comes around on the ribs. With training this, a very good way to train these serratus anterior muscles is to think of whenever you're doing a push-up. So when you're doing your push-up, come up to the top, you protract forward. That is really going to hit those serratus anterior. And you can put your hand there and feel that. So when you're doing your push-up, you come to the top, protract, and you really feel that. So, very good way to train that. And you need to train the serratus anterior and the Pec Minor as well, because they serve, different functions. So, some tips we have for training chest. Align your arm path with the chest fibers you want to target. As I mentioned before at the beginning, you have your clavicular, arm path this way, sternal, arm path this way, costal, this way. Tip 2, you want to ensure that the bench angle allows you to put the fibers you want to train on top. So let's say I'm laying down on a bench right now. Okay, I'm getting ready to do my press. Okay, you want to see when you're laying down, and this is individual because the sternum changes, it's different for everybody. So genetically, some people might have a sternum that is more like this. So these costal fibers, the lower chest is going to be more on top. Some people have this, where their upper or sternal may be on top when they're laying on the bench. So targeting that, you want to make sure that the division you want to train is on top. So when I'm lying down on a flat bench, you see here, with your chest poked out like this, you're going to be working more of that declined bottom portion of your chest. So a tip is do a slight incline on your bench, and that's really going to set you up for the sternal fibers more. So if I'm inclined a little bit, you see how that dips down and puts my sternal in the path I want to train. So that is one key to really ensuring you're efficiently hitting the fibers you want to train. And the same goes for incline. You don't want to set the incline so high that you're basically doing a shoulder press. You want to be at an angle that's slight incline but not too high to take that path for your clavicular fibers and not your front delts. Tip 3, scapular freedom. This is a very, very, very common thing I see and leads to many, many injuries. At the bottom of a chest press, you want that full retraction, because when you fully retract your back, you're fully stretching your chest. But as you come out of that press, you don't want to keep locked down, because that is going to limit your range and put a lot of stress on this shoulder joint. So come back down, fully retract. As you press up, you allow the scapula to come around. See how that did? Full retraction in the bottom. Don't keep it retracted as you come up. That's going to be a lot of strain. Allow that freedom. Tip 4, simply just think biceps to chest. Since the fibers insert on your humerus, whenever you're doing a press or a fly, think of driving your bicep into your chest. That is really going to target and hit those fibers. Don't worry so much about what your hands are doing. Just think about driving those biceps in. So lastly, I want to go over some common mistakes. First one there, like I mentioned previously, locking the scapula down. It's going to lead to a lot of shoulder issues, and having shoulder issues is really, it's one of the worst things you can have as a trainee, because your shoulders are basically in everything you do. 2, high elbows. So when you're pressing, a lot of people like to keep their elbows out, thinking they're going to hit more of their chest this way. So pretty much 90 degrees here. What this is going to do is put less tension on your chest, more stress on the shoulder joints. So what I like to see is bring those elbows slightly down to where somewhere comfortable. There's no specific range you need to be in, just where it's comfortable for you to press. That is how you want to train your chest. No high elbows. Bring it down slightly, and you'll feel a lot better. Tip 3, barbell incline press. Now, a lot of people believe that doing barbell incline press is really great for your upper chest. But when we were discussing the function of the clavicular fibers that run this way, they have to come across and immediately rotate. So when I'm doing an incline press, what are my hands doing? That path is not this. So the best way to train that is with dumbbells. So when you take your dumbbells, you want to converge in. See how that changes? The path lines directly up with those clavicular fibers. Not this, but just like that. Tip 4, decline press. This is another one that it's a slight decline can definitely hit your clavicular fibers very well, but a lot of the barbell station bench areas, they're really steeply declined. And typically, when people are doing that, they'll come down, just think I'm on a decline here, and it jams up a lot of stuff. And brings in this kind of, people want to shrug and press. So what that does, there's a lot of jamming going on in the shoulders, a lot of shoulder pain, and not only that, it's a limited range of motion. So what I like to do for lower chest is dips. Chest dips are a great way to fully stretch that costal fiber region, unlike the decline press where you have limited range of motion, because basically you run out of room whenever the bar comes down to your chest. There's no full stretch there. And another great movement I love is a high to low cable fly. See how you can get a full stretch up here? That's a full range of motion. So tip 4, that's a big one. Tip 5, allowing your shoulders to roll forward. Anytime you're pressing, come down, you want to stay in your active range of motion. As soon as that comes down and your shoulders begin to roll, that's very bad for the shoulders, and also takes tension off the chest. So that's a pretty big one too. You want to stay in your active range of motion. And lastly, improper alignment of cable and arm to the fibers you want to train. And like I was discussing earlier, the costal fibers, you want that cable to be in line with those costal fibers. For clavicular fly and arm path, you want the cable and the arm to line up with the fibers you want to train. Also horizontal adduction for the sternal. So there you go, guys. Short and brief. I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of the anatomy and function of the chest. Hopefully you can take that into the gym with you next time and maybe improve some of the movements you've been doing, improve the efficiency, the arm path. You want to train the certain fibers of the chest. Don't forget the Pec Minor and Serratus Anterior. Tips. Take those tips in the gym with you. Maybe they'll help reduce the shoulder issues or anything like that. Having an education of it will help your training quite well. It'll help make everything more efficient. And then, you want to avoid the common mistakes. So take all this. Hopefully you like this. I got some more videos coming up for you, so stay tuned. Appreciate the viewing, and till next time, guys. Thanks.